Three, two, one. What's up? What's up? What's up? How's it going, everybody? What's happening out there in Facebook land, Instagram land, YouTube land? I'm gonna try to. I think I made a mistake when I did my first solo here, talking about it in the podcast form. I'm actually filming. I'm not gonna take this footage from Facebook. I'm actually filming on an additional camera with an additional mic. And I'm going to make sure I grab that information and throw it over on the YouTube. So those of you who don't Facebook, or you have friends that maybe can't get here tonight, they can go ahead and get on the YouTube. If they don't Facebook or don't Instagram, they can get on the YouTube and they can hear what we're going to talk about tonight. And I hope some of you guys show up tonight. Please join me. Please comment. Please talk about divisions. It's a touchy topic. We're going to talk about overalls. We're going to talk about the different divisions, maybe some slight changes that we may see in the future. But please keep it positive. But get on here and let me know your likes, dislikes about certain divisions, or something you'd like to see changed, or maybe there's too many, there's too little, there's too whatever, and we'll try to do our best to get that information. Am I sounding right to everybody? Because I'm in Tawny's ears, because mine are dead. And it definitely sounds different in hers than mine. Can you guys hear me all right? Am I echoing? Do I sound all right? Is everything good to go? Because I want to make sure you guys are good to go. So without Tawny here to cover me on comments, I'm going to do my best to try to scroll and watch and keep an eye out. And I just want to talk about some stuff. Carrie, what's up? Travis, how's it going? Please feel free to throw the comments in as soon as possible. Bill, John, Teddy, I just want to maybe shed some light on some of the reasons we have the divisions that we have. Shed some light on the future. Obviously, right now we're going to talk solely about United Multi-Gun League. There's definitely a whole nother discussion to be discussed on the pistol steel side, but on United Multi-Gun League, a lot of things. Divisions, a lot of questions, a lot of comments out there floating around, and I want to do my best to try to answer some, maybe talk, and help shed some light on some of the stuff that's going on out there. So, what's up, everybody? Again, we're going to talk divisions. If you got some comments, please hit them up. I'm going to start, first off, I got this awesome shirt on. I want to thank my boy Paul Taylor out there at Controlled Chaos for hooking us up with these awesome hats and shirts. Paul Taylor, Controlled Chaos Solutions. Check it out. If he comes to a town near you, if you want to take a class from I call him my hero, a true hero. Take a class from somebody that has extensive knowledge in the direction that he's teaching and the things that he's teaching, and it's unlike anything you've ever seen before. It's definitely a compression of several different things all brought together. And then he puts his own special twist on it, and it's awesome. I know some of my teammates have taken the class just recently and said it was some of the more fun things they've ever done. So if Paul ever makes it out to your neck of the woods, or you ever make it out to his neck of the woods, hit him up. You can find him here on social media, and then there's probably a bunch of information on the back of this shirt. I don't know. I didn't even see the back. I should look at the back. But yeah, thanks, Paul, for hooking me up with some Controlled Chaos swag. Appreciate it, brother. All right, so we got some comments coming in. Good to go. Loud and clear. Sup, Pete? God, it's either super loud or maybe I bumped this. Is that better? That's better. 2x4 is fun. Should only be open. Good call. So let's talk about 2x4. Let's go right into it. Let's go and start talking about 2x4. So 2x4, man. All right, let's explain 2x4. 2x4 was a joke. It started out kind of as a comedy session. We were all sitting around the team. A bunch of us were chatting, and the discussion was how to bring PCC into multi-gun without the same aggression that it was met with in the pistol world. And we didn't want to take the rifle away or take a gun away, or we talked about let's replace the pistol with the PCC, then it's two rifles and a shotgun. There was all this discussion. It actually took place over a couple of weeks. And to be honest, it was a late night, and there might have been a couple of drinks had it, and the joke came up, why don't we just let them add their PCC to their bag and let them choose which guns to shoot. Now, obviously, that creates a certain level of adjustment and change in stage design for the match director. But what I've found is I still design stages for standard divisions, and then all I have to do is take a look at what would possibly happen with a 2x4 to try to come up with a better idea of where I would put the dumps or the pickups. And there's definitely been times where 2x4s have showed up to my match setting. You know, I really like it if there was a pickup right here or a dump right here. And obviously, well, yeah, we could put like multiple dumps and pickups everywhere, but not all clubs have the ability to put that many pickups and dumps and safe transitions on the stage. So we started out the first year Surefire putting multiple dumps, 2 and 3 per stage, and that turned into a lot of shoot all one gun till the end and then just shoot 3 targets. So we changed that, and now we've allowed the dumps to be more towards the middle of the stage, which still allows the 2x4s to pick which guns they want to shoot and have fun in their division, but they have to shoot kind of half the stage with one and half the stage with the other. Why did we decide to add the other one? Well, so we started with 2x4 open because when we decided, all right, we'll just let them add a 4th gun, but we have to make sure they shoot at least 2 because you can probably shoot the entire stage with just a PCC. 2x4 was born, and then the name 2x4 was born. And now, you know, I'm flattered. There's other organizations out there and outlaw organizations that are utilizing the division, and cool. If your customers are having a good time and that's what they want, then let's make it happen. Why did we go tack? So we had so many shooter. We decided 2x4 was like the true, like crazy open. It was like super open because now all of a sudden it was add the 4th gun, and that gun is in the standards of most divisions an open gun because it has dots. It has a break on it. You could do all kinds of stuff with it. So now you added an open gun. So we did open, and then we had a lot of tack shooters saying, "Hey man, I'd like to try that 2x4, but none of my gear is open." I can tell you guys honestly, right here, right now, that there is a discussion on the board of evolving 2x4 into one division. There's a bunch of plans to try to test some of this situation, and I can tell you right now where it's going to be tested first will be the 2020 USSL Grands. At the 2020 USSL Grands, at the 2019 Grands, we only had open and tack divisions, and we just tried to recognize the two, what we considered the longest standing and biggest divisions to test out the game and test out that Grands format. And we did the 2 championship belts, which was pretty fun. And we've had a lot of comments about a limited Grands, about a 2x4 Grands, and things like that. So the reason 2x4 is fun is because it lets you do what you want to do. The reason it was started open was because the PCC came in as an open gun, and the reason we allowed it to move into attack world was at the club level, when you have shooters that are shooting tack gear all the time, or let's call it optics gear. I want to stop saying tack, that's a whole nother discussion, but you have people shooting optics gear all the time and don't have open gear, and they have a PCC and they just want to try it out. And so when you think about at the club level, allowing shooters to show up to their club match and do what they want to do and shoot the divisions they want to shoot, why not? And that's really what the board, when I get my guys together and we talk, my question is always, why not? If you can come up with a safety reason why we shouldn't do something, then we'll discuss it. But why not have a 2x4 tack, and why not have a 2x4 tack, especially at the club level, to let the club guys kind of play and and dance around in different divisions and see what they like. It's not affecting anybody else at the club level, especially, and at bigger matches, it is up to the match director if he wants to address all 8 divisions or not. So, perfect example, the Grands last year, we only recognized at the Grand Championship open and tack, and somebody could run a match somewhere and only recognize one division if they wanted to. I mean, that would be the greatest thing, would be we have a 2x4 championship, whereas everyone's shooting the same division. I think one of my favorite matches I ever shot was a single stack championship. There's 400 shooters all shooting single stack, so I really felt like I was competing against everybody doing the same thing. And in that situation, overall mattered and all that good stuff. And now I'm getting off topic, so I got to check out some more comments. But yeah, 2x4 is fun, should be open. Maybe shouldn't be tack. Maybe should be tack, not open. A lot of discussions on it. I can tell you right now, there's a chance to have a 2x4 Grand Champion next year, and the division will be evolved the way it probably should have in the first place, which means instead of just adopting it on top of other divisions, let it be its own division. Nilio Tramble, what's up? Brian James, sounds good. Lance Quinton, what's up? Lance just had a great match up in District 13. Congratulations, you guys. I heard it was a success, and you guys had a good time. I'm smacking myself for not being there, but I just can't be everywhere yet. Patrick Kelly, what's up? I'll comment when I actually shoot another match. Michigan Cedar Valley, Patrick Kelly, yes, that's true. Mike Dagan, UPL has production division changed to 15 rounds. There's a monetary limit for production division. It's always been, I can't say always. When we first wrote it, it was 10, but we've been on a 15 rounds for a long time, Mike. So production division is actually, we're going to talk mostly multi-gun, but I will let you know that the UPL divisions will be changing, and we will not have a production division. We cannot have a production division. It is not our approved list to adopt. That's the best way I can put it, or the most PC way I can put it. It is not our approved list to adopt. Therefore, we will be evolving those divisions in the pistol world also, which will then evolve pistol and steel. Today, we're talking about multi-gun because we're getting ready for the 2019 Wyoming Magpul Governor's Match presented by Vortex Optics, and there's a lot of people asking questions about divisions. Brian, what's up? Evan, how's it going? Gail, Pat, and Nil. And what we got, yes, 2x4 is the I do what I want division. You know, the best thing I can say for the people that are kind of like not liking 2x4. So, and that's part of what I want to talk about. That's why I say keep it positive. Talk about what you like and don't like about limited or heavy or some of these controversial topics. But people that don't like 2x4 just feel like it's not true multi-gun, or a lot of times they say 3-gun. Remember, 3-gun is the original definition of 3-gun is 1 gun per stage. And that's what we did at the Grand Championships. Was we had single gun stages for multi-gun for shotguns, single gun stages for pistols, single gun stages for rifle, and then multi-gun stages at the end. Multi-gun means you apply multiple guns, 2 or 3, or even 4, to one stage. So we start talking about how 2x4 might not be true multi-gun. Well, multi-gun means at least 2 guns per stage, so that's not true. And it might not be true 3-gun. Well, it's definitely not 3-gun because there's multiple guns per stage. The only thing I can come up with is there's so much disagreement on the PCC side out there. But you know what? It goes back to what I just said at the club level. If people want to shoot the division, let them shoot it. It's not affecting you. I'm going to get my dry erase board. We'll talk about overalls in a minute. But it's not changing anything. I don't have to do anything to the stage to make it worse for the optic shooters or the open shooters. That makes it better for the 2x4 guys. I just build the stage. And I think about everything, and then I think about what the 2x4s might do so I can make sure that I keep it safe. In fact, at District 1, we ended up changing a start position at the last minute because I said, you know what, a 2x4 might choose to do this, and it could be a little bit unsafe. It could be a little break of a 180 reload, the pistol on the reload, and sure enough, we made a choice to change it, and out of 100 shooters, 99 of them got through there safe, and 1 of them did break the 180. So we learn from that. We constantly learn from these things. But typically, I just design the stage thinking what I think they should do or what I think I want them to do, and move some targets around. And then I just go, what are the 2x4s going to do? Okay, they'll just do this. And maybe they'll do this. And if they want to, they can do this. But it doesn't change the stage. I'm going on the record right now. I do not draw and design stages. 0 of the 12 stages for the Magpul Wyoming Governor's Match presented by Vortex Optics were designed for 2x4. They were all designed with match flow in mind and round count in mind and all divisions in mind. And the 2x4s are just going to choose to shoot their PCCs maybe a little more than their shotguns. Their choice, their division. Let them have fun. So, 2x4, do what I want. I've often heard you speak of one of the benefits of an unifying body being a standard set of rules. So with so many options in 3-gun versus a heavy, the multiple divisions seem to conflict the spirit of an. True that, Brian. Totally agree with you. So we're talking heavy for a minute. So we'll get off 2x4. We'll chat heavy for a minute, Brian. I would love to see the heavy come together into one place. The decision by the rules team to launch all three and then run one at one of our major events, one at a different one at a different one, a different one, was to see what kind of participation we would get. There's a lot of people out there that say that they'll only participate if it's true heavy, and other people say they don't have the true heavy guns, they don't have 45s and pump shotguns, so they'll only participate if they can shoot their 308. So we just tried to listen to the masses, which is a mix, and see who would build the heavy division, and the heavy division is still not being built. It was not represented at District 1 or District 2. I don't know if it was represented at District 13. I can tell you right now it wasn't on the roster for the Wyoming match. It was on the roster for the UML Championship, which was on the side of the Grands, and nobody shot it. A handful of people were registered in it, and then a bunch of people dropped out, and then a bunch of people just changed. Brian, I agree with you. And I can tell you in 2020, heavy division will become one division. Rule changes for UML 2020. It's not heavy division. We need to come up with a different name for it because it is not true heavy. It will become one, or it will go away. And that's really where we're at right now, where it will go away. John, what's up? How's it going? No production. You know, John, I get it. No production. So there will be a place for stock guns, basic guns, entry-level guns, carry guns, whatever you want to call it. But we at the United Pistol League, inside the United Shooting Sports Leagues, did not create the approved production gun list. We did not create it. We did not put in all the work over the years to develop it, to create this list that is licensed to another organization. Therefore, the confusion for our shooters when they come and shoot is that the division is not the same. And therefore, it is not the same because we cannot possibly have the same division. So again, there'll be a place for people to show up with their entry guns or their box guns, or I think one of the terms the board is used, stock guns, and those guns will be allowed to have trigger jobs and stippling and some things like that. Maps, okay, but it will not be called that anymore. Brian James, also, when there's so many different divisions, some don't make. We have to change setups at the last minute. That's frustrating. Some don't make. So many divisions that some don't make, and we have to change. Brian, I'm sorry. Also, when there are so many divisions that some don't make, and we have to change setups at the last minute. What kind of setup? So again, I don't design my stages for any one division ever. I design a stage, and then there's minimum distance rules and things like that. So as far as changing setups, I'm not quite sure I understand where you're talking, but hit me up again. I'll get back to you. What's the point of a ported shotgun barrel putting you in open? It's actually a good question. I'll probably write that down. That one would be one where when we talk to the board about it, it would be history. Porting of any type on a pistol or a shotgun has always moved you to open. Why is that? Well, when you port a shotgun, I have one right here that the great Mike Voigt ported for me. When you port a shotgun, you create a considerable competitive advantage in the speed in which you can recoil, recover, and follow through to your next shot. And so ported shotgun open. So when you ported a shotgun, it definitely became more of an open gun. Yeah, it didn't have a dot, maybe didn't have a bipod, but if you port a pistol, it becomes an open gun. If you port a shotgun, same thing. Definitely not off the table to discuss for future divisional requirements, but that's just how it's been. So, Greg, 2x4 makes you think outside the box. Yeah, Greg, I got to tell you, I've designed some stages for the Grands, and I was thinking about what would happen if next year we did bring 2x4 into it. And yeah, when you think about optics or open, and you start looking at a handful of some of the best shooters shooting the stage, a lot of times they kind of come up with a plan and then they all start following that plan. And then a lot of times mid-level shooters will follow that plan even though there might be a better plan for them. the reason 2x4 is fun to watch is I bet you could put 4 2x4s on a stage and they would shoot the stage differently. There's a big discussion I had with John Scouten with Shooting USA in regards to the future of 2x4 and the possibility somebody down the road of a 2x4 championship, and he was pretty excited about it because he was like, I'm pretty sure that instead of watching everybody do the same thing, which is what we do on a lot of super squads, we would see a lot of different plans and a lot of different plans that would match times. So yeah, there's a lot of fun in future at 2x4. Thanks, John. Greg, especially like a damn turkey shotgun. Notice the difference. Okay. Would like to see scoring concessions for paper targets in heavy, single hit to neutralize. Greg, good question. And man, I don't know if I'm doing timestamps. I'll just let people watch it. I'm not going to do timestamps. 20 minutes in, let's talk about why that's there. Greg, so the reason that is there, match directors have the ability to denote that paper can be shot with slugs. It's in the rule book. They have the ability to write it into the written stage brief and do it. The reason, 100%, why it is not a full-time rule, meaning at all times, at any point on any stage you could shoot paper with slugs, is I have personally seen 4 people go to the hospital, and I have a guy, Jeremy Reed, in Texas, contacted me 2 years ago about a situation that he said, I think it's the same situation where you've told me where we've gotten into trouble. And I said, yes, it is. And that match continued to maintain that presentation, which I'll explain in a minute. And at that match, somebody went to the hospital. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about mixing knockdowns and poppers with slugs. So knockdowns, when hit with slugs, in some rule books are DQs. In our rule book, it's a safety penalty. And to my knowledge, I have personally and not heard it or seen when a knockdown is hit with a slug, typically that slug round is gone. It's kind of a tumbling mess over a berm or somewhere, so it's kind of frustrating. We want to avoid it at all costs. The slug target, if it's a good target, MGM targets, it's not damaged, so we're good to go. In the rule book, there's something that says you got to replace the target, but I've never enforced that rule. I just tell shooters, hey, I'm sorry, but it's a 30, and you got to take care of business and be smarter with your slugs. So what does that mean? That means people hit knockdowns with slugs. I've seen the best do it. We were just at District 1 or District 2, and a top-level semi-pro shooter hit a knockdown with a slug. It's very easy to get your candy cane load missed up. It's very easy to have a new shooter load slugs in the bottom instead of the top, or vice versa. And in the history of 10 years that I've been working matches, I've seen 4 and know of a 5th one, and I'm sure there's probably some others, where a slug that was put into a slug select situation shot a popper inside minimum distance. So a popper meaning at 7-10 yards, because maybe you were going to go into an array of flippers. And for those of you who come to my matches, you will never see a popper and flipper array in the same stage as slugs, because that turns into a slug on a popper, which creates a dangerous situation, or a slug going after a bird over a berm, which creates another dangerous situation. So we're trying to create a nice, fun, safe environment for everybody to have fun in. And when I've watched people get extremely hurt, hospital hurt, by striking poppers with slugs because their slug select went wrong. And this isn't for, Scott Green's right there. Does he get his slug select wrong? Probably not. Maybe not. Greg, maybe you got it down pat. But I've seen it happen. I did it when I first started shooting. It happened at Blue Ridge. I hit a knockdown with a slug. Multi-gun nationals for USPSA, it's a DQ. I can't tell you how many times it happened when somebody hit a knockdown with a slug. But when you hit a popper with a slug at minimum distance, so inside, not the 50 yards where slug targets belong. And I use super downward angle slug targets, MGM BCCs and my MGM's Hexies, where there's no chance those slugs are hitting the ground, because a slug target that's straight up and down, i.e. a popper, when that slug hits it, there's definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, because I've seen the injuries, a dangerous situation. Therefore, when you have matches going on all over the country where people are going to allow slugs on paper at all times, and then there's going to be a flipper popper array, and there could be a whatever downrange, you've got the safety situation inside the bay, and you have the safety situation downrange from the brand new shooter that messes up their load and fires one at the popper or fires one at the bird. So is it possible? Yes. I've watched it happen. So we wrote it in so that match directors could do it. And the reason is so that they can make sure the stage is safe enough to do it. If I have a stage that's all clays or all knockdowns, and I want to write in that you can shoot paper with your slugs and single round engagement to neutralize, totally doable. So anybody can do it. I recommend you do it carefully. I recommend you do it safely. I recommend that you could ask questions or text me or email me or ask me why, but here's the reason why. I just threw it on out there. This is why we don't do it, and it is available to do, but it should be taken advantage of in a safe environment, being not a range that has, you know, say houses to the left berms or something way down range to that direction, because rounds over berms, slugs over berms are bad ideas, and it happens. So there you go, Greg. There's my point. Scott, I don't mind having multiple divisions. People should have options to shoot what they want unless they go and hide to have a better finish. However, I do not like how there is an overall tab combining divisions in the results. This is not necessarily a UML critique, but of a complaint about practice score. I much prefer the IPSC style results where there is not even an option to look at combined scores. What is your options on this? Great point, Scott Green. Let's talk about it. That overalls tab, or the first screen that you see when you pull up practice score, is incorrect. Period. It's incorrect. And I've got to have some more discussions with practice score to make it possibly go away. The standard format that pops up that shows what's going on is not a true math algorithm and a correct algorithm of what happens. It does give you somewhat towards the top, and then it starts getting jumbled up throughout the middle, and it definitely should go away. I agree with you, Scott. Why is there overalls? A lot of people like overalls. They want to see how they did against their friends. My point to that would be, if you really want to see how you do against your friend, then go shoot the division that your friend's shooting. The thing you can do in UML is, if you shot a stage, Scott, and you were shooting open, and I shot a stage and I was shooting 2x4, and we both shot the stage clean, and you shot a 35 and I shot a 34.5, well, then I could say I beat you on that one stage. But let's talk about that, because UML scoring, originally when we first did UML scoring, when we very first did it, and Mark Zebart came up with the idea of balancing the stages where fastest time sets the stage points, which I absolutely love, and we're going to keep it forever. It really is showing really cool stuff in the Pistol League and the Steel League also. But when we decided to do fastest time, when we first decided to do it, it was overall fastest time. So whoever set the stage time the fastest, meaning let's say it was the open division, so you did, then everybody got those points. So let's say you shot a stage, and let's say you shot the stage in open. Let me see if people can see this. Can you see that? Yeah. Let's say you shot the stage in open, and you shot it in 45 seconds in open. All right. And then every other division shot it slower than you. Well, then when we first started, every division was going to start with 45 points. And so let's talk about, let's say, the limited division. If they shot that stage in 65 seconds, well, their winner still only got a percentage of your 45 points. And because we were trying to get away from overalls, we talked to practice score, and they created our new algorithm, which basically says it goes by division only. Therefore, if this is a stage, the same stage, and Scott Green in open shoots it in 45 seconds and wins the stage, so at the end of the match he's the fastest on the stage, he's going to get 45 points. Okay? And the limited, the fastest guy in limited, shot at 65 points, he's getting 65 points. And so let's think about this. As the match goes on, and Scott shoots another one in 50, and the limited guy shoots it in 100, and Scott shoots another one in 30, and the limited guy shoots it in 45. Okay? And let's say Scott Green, these are all stage wins. First. So if these are all stage wins, and then we look at this, and Scott Green's got 5, 9, 10, 11, 12. Scott Green currently in these three stages, winning those three stages, has 125 match points because he's won them. Obviously, if he was fifth in one, then somebody else would get all the points and he would get a percentage of those points, and it all does the math. But 125 match points. And the limited guy, he's got 165, 70. He's got 2, am I right? 210. 210. So the limited guy has 210 match points. So some people would look at that and say that the limited guy has more match points. He wins. But it's only by division. It's only by division. So the tab that comes up doesn't, it's not, I've been told that it does not take into account all of this information, and it just is the default that we have to work on evolving our own templates even further. And I've already asked Practice Score to do so much for us that I don't nag them on some of this other stuff. But without getting too much more winded on it, try to explain, this right here shows you there's absolutely no way or reason to care about what's happening in other divisions, and you can't compete against the other division at all. It shows very quickly that the fastest guy in limited, I mean, this could easily be a long range stage. Stage 2 could easily be a long range stage. Okay, man, these pens are, oh, I know, I forgot, they're magnets. Stage 2 could be a long range stage. This could be long range, and that's why Scott Green with his bipod and his 8 power scope can shoot it half the time it took the limited guy with a dot. And maybe this stage right here had some shotgun loading in it, and so he's able to get quite a bit ahead. And this was just a fast burner stage, and Scott's just Scott. He's crazy. He's fast. He's hot. So this shows right here. Now, if I could write all the divisions out, I could show you the same exact knowledge. It's the fact that you can't compare divisions. You shouldn't be comparing divisions. And if you want to shoot against another, if you want to compare yourself to a division or to a friend that's in a division, then you have to go shoot that division with that friend. You know, in a dream world, do we put all shooters in one division at one event because we have, you know, 50,000 members and shooters, and so we have a limited championship and there's 300 shooters that are all shooting limited? Sure, in a dream world that'd be awesome. And then an open championship and an optics championship and all that. But that's a little ways off. So right now we have a championship coming up, the 2019 Magpul Wyoming Governor's Match presented by Vortex Optics, and it has about 250 shooters in it, and we're recognizing a lot of divisions. We recently just added a division which was hit with a lot of negativity, but nothing is changing on the stages from the designs that are currently in play to allow the other division to compete, other than an additional target that I have to put in for that division to have a round count that's consistent with the rest of the field. I don't even have to do that. There's no rule that says I do. I just choose to, because it's easier for the stage description and the stage managers to read that says round count's 50, period. So if the round count's 50, period, it doesn't matter what division you're shooting, go find your 50. And I'm not changing anything. I'm not bringing in targets and making it easier for the other divisions by allowing the PCC division to compete. I had the District 1 and District 2 champions come to me and ask. And if I have the District 1 and District 2 champions, the first places in those divisions, come to me and say, hey, I'd come up to Wyoming if I could shoot the division I love to shoot. And I'm not taking any slots from anybody else because there's still room in the match, then I really haven't created any issues for anybody but myself. It means I have to drag more equipment and put a little bit more work into the build, but I'm not changing anything. So, hope that makes sense. We can talk more. I don't know if people got more to talk about on that. Scott, I will definitely get with Practice Score and work on the future of that and get rid of any thought process that there's there. Appreciate the comments. Appreciate you guys interacting. This is awesome. Teddy, better represented at District 9. Those guys are working hard to keep heavy alive. Yeah, no, awesome, cool. And whichever one they decide, Ted, talk to me about it, because maybe the districts that have the biggest field in 2019 in that division, maybe that's the direction that we go with the division. I'm not shooting it, and nobody on my team is shooting it. So I need the input of the shooters to figure out what direction we want to go. Scott, I fully agree, but I get a lot of feedback from my locals really wanting to see an overall winner, and they don't even hear the argument that doesn't make sense. So there's the argument, Teddy. I just did it. Why it doesn't make sense and why it's not possible. Again, if you have a buddy, Ted, me and you go out and we shoot against each other, and we shoot a 5-stage local match, and at the end we both shot the match clean, or we both have, let's say, well, we didn't shoot it clean. Let's say because I seen you shoot, it's not going to be clean. Let's say we both have 30 seconds in penalties total, and you shot stage 1 10 seconds faster than me. Well, you beat me on stage 1 by 10 seconds, and if I shot stage 2 faster than you by 10 seconds, well, we're tied. So it really wouldn't take that much work sitting around a bar afterwards, or a restaurant afterwards, discussing how the match went to decide if I beat you or if you beat me. I don't teach people to beat each other. We're competing against ourselves and the course of fire. In fact, Ted, the fact is there's no way you can beat me or I can beat you unless you can physically interact and mess up my stage. You can't be shooting paintballs at me while I'm running through the stage. So it goes into a whole long feedback, but it just doesn't work. It's not that we totally ever decided when we wrote this that we were going to get rid of overalls. There was never a discussion. At first, it was the fastest time on the stage, set the stage points for everybody, and then the overall worked. And then the shooters complained that they didn't want to be compared to the open division all the time, and they wanted their own stage points to count, and it made perfect sense, so we adopted it. And immediately when we adopted it, that board makes more sense, and it doesn't work, and it's what we have now, so there is no overall. The way to do the overall would be you would have to completely redo the scoring. This was my discussion with Practice Score. You would have to completely write another algorithm that would completely redo all the scores in the match back to a normal 100-point system to create the overall, but that's not how our rule book works, and that's not how our scoring is, so why would we do that? Mike Whitesides, what's up? Greg, the ports on my Mossberg don't knock out any recoil. Roland, what's up? Benji on his trip. How you doing, brother? Heavy pistol rifle, single hit to neutralize paper. It can be written in, Greg. Again, it totally can be written in the written stage brief. If there's a group out there that's going to recognize heavy at a match and they want to write it in prior to the match, that does not affect anything safe in the match. It does make the round count questionable, but I don't have a problem with it. But every time I've shot heavy, when I did shoot heavy, and when my teammate shot heavy at high levels, it was always still 2. And so we just ran around and shot 2. Yeah, it makes it more expensive, but I'm not against anything in heavy, guys. And if we're gonna get into a crazy heavy, I think heavy's like a full-on debate by itself, an entire session all by itself, where we basically announce it like months out so we could get as many heavy shooters to show up here and talk about it together, and we come up with something. But what we found in over the years of trying to is there's no general consensus. There's people that like it one way and don't like it the other way, and people that'll shoot it the new way but won't shoot it the old way. People that'll only shoot it the old way, Patrick Kelly right there, but don't want to shoot it the new way. The consensus isn't balanced, so we have to find the balance, and that would mean a lot of discussions. But you could totally do, if you ran a match, Greg, and you wanted to do single hits, you could totally write in a written stage brief. There's no rule in our book that does not allow that. And with that, limit mag caps 10 and 20. Yeah, so there's the other discussion is mag, and there's a heart on there, so that's good. That was the original part of the heavy or He-Man division, was limiting mag capacities. But then there's so many people that are against mag limits. Almost anybody except California, but they do it there too, gets bigger than 10 unless you're shooting a standard 45 with 10 round mags. And then now PMag makes longer rifle mags for the 308. Now they make the drums. Terran makes base plates, so if you can put more bullets in the gun, freedom. But that was the division. So I'm probably the wrong guy to really talk too much about heavy. Again, like I said, I would love to, if some people were sending me an email and say, hey, let's have a full-on heavy debate for 2020, we can pick a date, and 100% we can get as many heavy shooters here as we can to bash it out. Jeremy, what's up? Land, how's it going? Kerry Palmer, my hope would be for the first landing page on Practice Score to be an alphabetical listing of shooters in the match. Interesting, Kerry. Make a note. Casey Proud, what's up? Tony Ray, how you guys doing? Countdown to goodness. We're set to restart. I don't want to restart. No. Schedule time 6:55 p.m. No, I don't want that time. Will there ever be handicaps for categories? Example, lady tech, senior tech. A whole nother discussion, Mike, on categories. We've been having this discussion quite a lot because we're getting awards ready for Magpul. And first of all, ladies, obviously I have a lady that I live with. Ladies, not really a category. It's just a whole nother group of shooters. In my belief, and I've been talking to several ladies little by little trying to decide this, is that ladies almost could be their own division, not a category. And then senior, super senior, junior, those are categories. And as far as handicapping those, no, that's interesting. I don't have a plan for that. Obviously, we talked to my last group meetings, my last private session about golf, and golf has forward tees for juniors and an even forward tee for seniors, or for ladies and seniors. So there's definitely systems out there, but I think for our game, I've thought about it in a design factor. I mean, what would I do? Let you start further down the stage, have less targets. It would have to be a math algorithm that would need to be presented with a lot more data than we currently have. But it's possible. It's interesting. Handicap. We do have our qualification title system, and that's really helping out. There's definitely a lot of juniors and ladies and seniors that are winning their qualification titles. They're winning high marksman, high sharpshooter, because they can do that. Winning high overall would be pretty difficult for most. Too difficult. Again, John, making notes on it. That's all we're doing right now. Talking, chatting, making notes, and thanks for the comments, guys. Keep them coming. Now me shooting paintballs at you sounds amazing. We should try that. Like free heavy, but started in the true heavy. Yeah, Greg, agreed. Heavy's a whole big thing. Remember that day I was running the timer for you? Gosh, that would have been like 6 years ago or something in Tulsa. Probably. Replying to Mark. I reran the match next day in limited and did the match better, including hitting the popper with a proper bird load. No, thank you to handicaps. I would need another category for non-handicap. Tony Ray, so you're here, and I've talked to several of the ladies about this, and if we're going to talk divisions for a second, my plan, just like I had already mentioned at the top of the hour, is that possible 2x4 grand champion next year at the 2020 Grands, where we would maybe work a division for the divisions, if you will. The same discussion has been placed out to make a ladies grand champion. So so often we have a match which just took place District 1, District 2, where there's like a lady in each division. And so the ladies really never get a chance to compete against each other. But forcing all of the ladies, and I'm not just hitting on ladies, I would say the same thing about juniors or anybody, or even guys, forcing them all to shoot one division, to put them all together. So all of them into optics or all of them into open, which is what's been taking place over the last few years, forces several optic shooters into a open division where they don't have the right equipment, or open shooters into the optics division where they don't have the right equipment and they end up borrowing equipment. So there's a way. We've come up with some ideas for a hybrid division that would just be the ladies division. Now this would not stop Tony Ray from wanting to go shoot with her buddy over in 2x4 whatever. Because she would say, that's my buddy and I want to shoot there. But at the Grands next year, if we do a ladies grand champion, it will only be if those ladies all shoot that ladies division. And I can tell you right now, we will not be forcing, the rules aren't written 100%. So there's another discussion that's going to take place, 2 more discussions that the rules committee is going to take place prior to 2020. After we have a couple meetings, and the division somewhere in the middle, and it's a compromise so that we're not forcing all people to go borrow all the gear that they're not comfortable with. So that would be the direction I would like to see. Again, I don't write the rules. I project it to 2 teams of people that do. I do have an awesome lady with me that has shot over the years at a very high level. I also have contact with some other ladies that have assisted me along the way. And Tony Ray and Melissa, if you guys have any ideas or any thoughts, please feel free to hit me up and send me an email, and don't make it too long, and I'll read it, and I'll add it to the list for the teams to talk about. So cool, look at that, I caught up. So we talked about overalls. I know we already hit that. We've talked about 2x4 quite a bit. I touched on PCC. I want to get into PCC a little bit. I want to make sure that I make this super clear. And I know I talked about it, but I didn't really say it like full out. I get it. PCC is hated. I don't know why. It's hated by my own teammates. I've got a teammate that refuses to touch one. I get it that it's hated. I understand. I listen. I get it that it's hated in the pistol world. I think I can speculate why it's hated in the pistol world. It does allow people to play maybe at a higher level than they can with a pistol. That's not argumentative. That's not an argument. That's a fact. You can take a not so great pistol shooter, and they might be able to finish a stage faster with a PCC. Not all stages, because some stages are going to be more difficult with the rifle, but if you are not that great of a pistol shooter, you might be able to complete a stage better with a rifle. That being said, in the pistol world, you're shooting a lot of close paper, 7-10 yards, close steel, 10-15 yards, and you're shooting stuff that was designed to be engaged at distances that allow a pistol to shoot extremely fast, because that's what shooting pistol matches is fun, right? We like going fast. When you bring a PCC over to the Safariland match, so the inception of PCC only division was almost created as we created the Safariland match. And Scott Carnahan and Safariland, Scott Carnahan's retiring. Congratulations, sir. You're going to be extremely missed. But Scott and I had to talk about the growth and the beginning of the Safariland Expedition match. And we created the Safariland Expedition match, which would allow some of the pistol shooters on Team Safariland to come shoot, and allow other shooters to shoot the 2-gun division, which has grown into probably, which another division I want to talk about, probably the second largest division out there at a lot of the matches that we're having, a lot of the bigger matches, and a very good entry level division, 2-gun. But back to PCC. When you come to a Safariland match and you shoot PCC only, you're not shooting a pistol match, you're shooting a multi-gun match. Therefore, there's skinny Sammys at 60 yards, there's 3-bangers, 8-inch targets, and plate racks out at 50, 60, 70 yards. At Safariland, we've had 10-inch MGM flashers at 100 yards. We typically, if we have an alternate target, like we did at Cedar Valley, District 2, it's just over 100 yards. So 10-inch circles, 12-inch circles at 100 yards. So the 9mm bullet doesn't have the same ballistics and trajectories and stuff as a 223 bullet, so it's going to drop much faster. So asking you to hit a 10-inch circle at 300 yards is not possible. It's possible, we did it, but it's not acceptable. It's not simple. But asking you to hit 10-inch plate when you might not even know what your drop is, we've been discussing. It becomes a challenge. It becomes a shot. And we watched Marco, a Grandmaster PCC shooter, come to both District 1 and District 2. And on the skinny Sammys, the little 4-inch targets at 50, 60 yards, Marco dropped prone with his PCC. So when have you ever, unless there was a low port, when have you ever seen a PCC shooter in a pistol match go prone to make a shot? It's not going to happen. But he's decided that, you know what, I'm gonna have to do these things. So he dropped prone, got up, ran, shot the stage. I've seen PCCs with bipods on them. I've seen guys putting scopes on their PCCs. The actual chance that you would put a scope on the top and a dot on the diagonal is totally there. And so we feel that it's a little bit more representative of what the firearm can do by shooting a multi-gun match PCC only. Now, is it a multi-gun match? Yes, I get it. By true definition, it's a multi-gun match. So why allow a 1-gun division? Sheer numbers, guys. It's simple. these matches aren't full. And if they're not full, i.e. the 2019 Wyoming Governor's match, if it's not full and there's ghost squads all over the place, and I get literally five high-level, been to my district matches, been to my other matches, I get 5 top shooters that contact me and say, hey, I'm not going. I would. It's just good for the match. There's zero negative of it. If you're shooting a standard division on the other side of the range, competing against 100 optics shooters, and these 5 individuals were not coming to shoot optics, or were not already in the optics division, meaning they were going to jump out of optics and go to another division, shrinking your division down, giving you less competition. These 5 shooters weren't even in the match, weren't planning on coming to the match, and they chose to come to the match if there was a possibility of offering the division. And so there's 0 negatives in it. It's good for the sponsors. Get more exposure. It's good for the range. They want us there. They want to see numbers there. The governor's going to come out to the range on Sunday. He's going to see everybody there having fun shooting. It brings in a whole nother dynamic to the game. Honestly, and here's my top, and then I'll stop talking about it. Try to imagine this. We're probably a long way from ever seeing a match that would have 1,000 people at it. Okay, a multi-gun match, or a match in general. Okay, so imagine a range facility somewhere that could hold a match that would hold 1,000 people. And if those 1,000 people were all there, and there was still 100 people shooting the optics division, and then there was people shooting all these other divisions that weren't affecting that optics division, but able to shoot within that match in different time slots, different schedules, different squads, whatever, and it didn't affect anything in the match, it still allowed everybody to play. Well, that would actually be the dream match for most match directors, ranges, and sponsors. Can't tell you how many sponsors keep saying, like, we just can't keep contributing. There's no return on investment. You're running matches for 150 shooters. We need to see more people there. We need more exposure. And they're not seeing the social media exposure side just quite yet. So if you could tell a sponsor that there'd be 1,000 people at the match, think of like an ammo sponsor. There's going to be 1,000 people at the match. There's 1,000 people that need to buy your ammo. It doesn't matter what they're shooting. They could be shooting cowboy action divisions. Quite frankly, perfect example, cowboy action has more competitors, more members, a higher count of current members, not current members, what do you call it, active members, than all the other ones, than all the other sports. And they also have more divisions than anybody. Now, does that mean we need 100 divisions? Probably not. But it just means that they're doing something right. They're getting numbers. They're getting numbers for their clubs. They're getting numbers for their organization. They're getting numbers for their sponsors. And there's no reason not to have those numbers. So I know there's some of you that hate PCC, and I'm not going to change your mind. And I'm not here to change your mind. I'm here to help you understand that I did not change anything in the match to allow this to happen that would affect the other divisions. It's not changing the value of the match at all. In fact, it's increasing, and we're actually going to gain a couple of sponsors because of it. So all in all, it's a benefit to the match. Again, if that match was full months ago and there was no room, and I had 5 people call me and say, hey, could you do this? I'd say, match is full, bro. I got a wait list. So maybe next year. But isn't, so we did it. And for those of you who are not happy that I did it, I did it for a good reason. And I can promise you I'm not changing the stages that you will be shooting in the standard divisions for the 2-gunners or the PCCers. Agreed. Josh, what's up? Would there be a possibility of an optics light division? Carry optics guns, same requirements as USPSA carry optics, tube-fed shotguns, offset red dot options for rifles, but no bipods or sandbags. Optics light. So, no, don't turn my computer off. Update bin is because your device wasn't free at this code. Okay, good. No, wait an hour. Okay, sorry. My computer's trying to restart on me. All right. Josh, let's talk about that real quick. I keep referring to optics instead of tac optics. There's this discussion. Like, this is controlled chaos, right? If you want to learn tactics, you should go to a guy that teaches tactics. If you want to learn marksmanship skills, you should come to somebody who teaches marksmanship skills. If you want to learn weapon manipulations, you should go to a location that teaches a massive amount of weapon manipulations. If you're manipulating your firearms a lot and shooting targets at 3 yards, You're not learning tactics and you're not learning marksmanship. If you're shooting far targets out in the open, you're not learning tactics or manipulations. If you are hiding behind barrels, shooting targets at different distances, working together with a team or a unit or a pair to accomplish a mission with some marksmanship involved, you may be learning some tactics while applying your marksmanship skills. And possibly during that tactics class that you might have taken with Controlled Chaos Solutions, you might actually have had a malfunction and your weapon manipulation skills might be put into play. And so to bring it all back together would be huge. You can't learn how to ride a half pipe by doing slope style. You have to do them both. And then could you go ride a slope style course into a half pipe? Yes. So where am I going with all this? There's nothing tactical about what we do in multi-gun at 90% of matches. Sure, there's outlaw matches out there that make you shoot out of a car or something cool. And I'm not saying my style of stages is the only style out there. We talked about that last time, where anybody out there could shoot their own matches. But I know I'm gonna get all these controversy, all these cries, and these. There's nothing tactics about what we do. There's nothing tactical about what we do, and there's a confusion out there when we start talking about tac optics. Now, doesn't mean you can't come to one of my events and put on your full kit and mags and chest plates and run around and check your six and have all the fun you want, man. I'm not going to stop you at all. I think it's great. Don't break the 180. Have a great time. Shoot and have fun. And when you get done and you come to me and say, man, I had a blast. I don't understand how Scott Green can be so much faster than me. Scott Green's wearing plaid shorts and a foo-foo jersey with a bunch of logos on it. And he's got some shoes and he's hot. And he's running around out in the open and he's shooting and he's having fun and he's playing the game. And you got to play the game. I shot my first multi-gun match with what looked like an M16. Okay, it was an AR-15, but it was full on the copy of the carry handle, everything. And I went and I met Taryn, and he made fun of me all day for shooting just garbage guns. But I learned a lot, and I evolved, and I realized that some of the techniques that I had and that I was working were not going to allow me to be as fast and as crazy quickly as I've become today. So why am I talking about it? I'm rambling. Tac optics. There's nothing tac about it. So I put on the table for the board to discuss a 2020 change of that name to just be optics. And in the process of that, Josh, on the table, it is to add a dot. Not a bipod, not sandbags, not all that other stuff, but to add a dot. So what does that mean? I'm not saying that it's happening. I'm not saying I'm ruining tac optics. I'm not saying that we're trying to be different. I'm just telling you that on the table right now, there's enough people that are wanting carry optics firearms in the game. They're wanting carry optics firearms in the two-gun division. And the slide ride optic possibilities are extremely simple nowadays. So many guns make them. You can go to duickdefense.com and you can get one of these bad boys, and that just slides right in your dovetail. And you can mount an optic on there. It's even co-witnessed. So that's at duickdefense.com. You can get carry optics pistols, and people who have trouble seeing, not very good with their eyes, maybe have a little bit more fun. There's still a marksmanship challenge and skill involved in still actuating the trigger correctly and having good trigger control. But the discussions on the table, Josh, thanks for bringing it up. I think I went too far on that and rambled too long on it. I got to get back to some more comments. But Josh, send me over email if you think about it. I definitely don't want to add another division, but there's definitely the chance that the amount of people that want to see a bigger limitation of limited, but it's 90% not limited shooters, maybe the answer is to put a little bit more freedom in the optics division. Maybe. Speculating. Scott Green, I don't necessarily like this idea, but this is just for discussion. In order to crown a true champion, what about a match like the old 3-Gun Pro Series where everyone shoots stage guns? Again, just for discussion. That would probably be a tough one for me to argue. As most of you know, my coach Mike Voigt taught me pretty much everything I know and guided me over many, many years, and absolutely despised stage guns. When great shooters, Scott, when you have your guns and you want to shoot your guns to the level that you like to shoot your guns and you know your guns, There's been some events where a lot of the best shooters have shown up to those events. You've seen Bruce Pyatt and Jerry Mitchell and some of these great names go out to these events and do extremely well shooting all these stage guns. But I personally not a fan of it at this point. Honestly, as the Grands grows, Scott, I think you did a great job against some of the toughest competition. There was a couple names that were not there that maybe you wanted to compete against, but you had people there that were coming for you, and they were coming for you hard, and you did work. So that was a very good championship match. Now, does that mean you're the champion nationwide? Maybe not. Maybe down the road it could be. But when you've got a racked up win at District 1, win at USPSA Multi-Gun Nationals in Florida, win at Safariland, and win at Grands this year alone, kind of hard to argue who the top dog is right now. Yeah, there's some other open shooters that haven't showed up to all those events, but has anybody racked up 4 high-level titles this year in that division elsewhere? Maybe not. Maybe they have. Maybe not. So I'm not a fan of stage guns. In fact, we're bringing stage guns to Wyoming. So as I say, I'm not a fan. There was a couple opportunities that some sponsors wanted to do some stuff with stage guns, and we came up with an idea that we think is going to be super fun and fair and easy. It's definitely not going to be a part of your match score. It's definitely not going to be affecting your time, and it's going to be for fun, and it's going to be good for the sponsors, and it's going to be for raffle tickets for the reception. But next week or the week after that, tune in as we talk all things Wyoming, all things 2019 Wyoming Magpul Governor's Match presented by Vortex Optics. It'll be a TMP show, all things Wyoming, and we will talk to you guys about schedule and the stage guns and the reception and the shoot-offs and everything that's going to happen, all things Wyoming. Today we're going to get back to divisions. Brian, replying to Scott, certainly levels the playing field. No one will be comfortable with those specific guns. True, it's a whole nother match. It's not a 3-gun, it's not a multi-gun championship because it's shooting a whole bunch of other guns. So it's a whole nother match. And I bet you we could get some sponsors on board with something like that. I'd be willing to do it. Not here. I get too many matches here. I want to move my matches here already as it is. Trevor, since it's called optics, you could have magnification on the rifle and 1 dot to put on the platform of your choice. Just a thought. That's the thought. Trevor, that's it. That's what's on the table. Is here's your equipment list, put it where you want. I mean, if you want it on your pistol because you can't see your sights anymore, good for you. If you're mad because they got it on their pistol and you want it on your shotgun so you can shoot slugs better, good for you. If you don't really want one on your shotgun, but you really like the diagonal idea because then you can put a more powerful scope on your rifle because you're not that good at shooting long-range rifle, good for you. For me, the exciting part of it for me is it gives you the option to put it where you want and play to your strength, and also allows some deception inside the division. Right now, everybody has the same thing, so everybody shows up with the same gear. And if you wanted to create options, I think we've done quite a good job of options in UML, and now we create some other options inside the divisions. Could be fun, but it's on the table. We'll see how it goes. Replying, Scott, pick up a gun, falling steel for points. No, shotgun is a loading fest. Replying to Scott. Oh, yeah. Pick up a gun, falling steel for points. Yeah, no, shotgun is just a loading contest. Even now with quad loading, which is awesome. Quad loading has changed the game. No longer do I worry about if I put 15 rounds on a stage that I'm going to have some people really slow as they drop all their shells trying to put them in the gun. I know that most people can do it. And if you can't load quads, you should be loading 2s because that's pretty fast too. But let's see, we got optics light division, pistol, striker fired, or DASA with slide mount optics, no compensation. Shotgun, 2 fed shotguns with dot, no loading sticks. Rifle can have 1 magnified optic and 1 F-sight red dot, no bipods, no bags. All right, Josh. That's too much for me to write down, but I got it. I'll make note. Agree to this, not the best idea is go open if you want optics on your pistol. Yeah, so that's the other discussion. That's the other discussion out there is if you want, go open. But I can tell you right now, there's a lot of push. A lot of push for pistol, carry optics pistols. Basically, the amount of new people getting into the game and the amount of companies making those pistols. Think about it, guys. We need to help these companies, right? We got to help sponsors, And if we show sponsors, Vortex would love to sell a whole bunch of dots, and other sponsors would love to sell a whole bunch of dot-righted guns. So it's out there. It's on the table. Go Scott and 3-gun. Tony Ray, I consider my own personal division as fairy ops. Just saying. Brown and Trambo. That was another option we were discussing. Put the extra dot wherever you want. Christina, what's up? Lance, I like extra dots in optics division. It seems like optics on pistols are the wave of the future. And loved ladies division idea. That's awesome to know, because I love ladies division idea. Again, when I worked in golf, when I was in Hawaii and I was doing golf specific training and working at a golf club, we had a very, very, very accomplished young lady named Michelle Wee that was practicing at our golf club, and she actually obviously went on the ladies tour once she was old enough, and she actually dabbled a little bit on the men's tour. My point would be, if we had a ladies division, because ladies should not be a category. If we had a ladies division, just like we do divisional prize tables, right? There's an optics division prize table, open division prize table, and all the way down to the whatever division prize table that may only have 10 shooters at it. There's 10 prizes there, and there's 100 prizes over there. If you had 10 ladies in a ladies division, they'd have a ladies division prize table. And we do, for those people who want to know, we do a lot of percentages and a lot of math to figure out the prize table stuff. Paul Taylor from Controlled Chaos really helped us out in coming up with a system that basically takes 100% of the value of the prize table and divides it out to each division based on how many people are in division, and then divides that out to the division by percentages. So if you were to clarify that just a little bit, imagine you were 67% in TAC and there was somebody that was 67% in limited. The value of those two prizes would be fairly close to identical. So we do a lot of math to make sure the prize tables are fair, and there's that's a whole nother discussion that I want to have, is the future of the prize tables. We did the new prize table system at District 2 and I felt it went well, and I had several top shooters tell me it should have been this way a long time ago. Order a finished prize table from top to bottom is probably not possible forever for the future, especially with so many matches. So there has to be an evolution, and we need to be awarding top prizes to winners, and we have qualification titles so we can do winners now. And if there's enough prizes like there will be at Magpul, everyone's going to get a prize. We just probably won't be doing it in an order of finish from top to bottom. So the guy that is finishing in 260th place is waiting for however many hours to walk the prize table. So there's some discussions. It's a whole nother podcast. We're not even going to talk about that tonight, even though I just did. So if there was a ladies division, and if there was a ladies division at a match that had other divisions that were being represented, and a lady wanted to just shoot the division that she likes to shoot with her friends or husband or whoever, there would be no rule against that. So we wouldn't be stopping ladies from shooting in another division, but there would not be a ladies title in that other division. So i.e. we had a district match where there was 7 divisions recognized, and there was 5 ladies in 5 different divisions, and so there was 5 high ladies by division, versus if we had a ladies division and there was, say, 4 wanted to go to that ladies division and one said, nah, I'd rather just do what I do, then that one would compete in that division, and that division would have a prize table, and that lady would fall into that divisional prize table wherever she finished in order of finish, and the other 4 ladies would have a ladies prize table with 4 prizes. Hopefully down the road we can have a ladies division that has 20, 30 shooters in it, and we can watch 20 or 30 ladies battle it out and have a great time, just like when we watch 20 or 30 optics guys battle it out. So that made my point there. Kim Schultz, what's up, brother? How's it going? I'm at an hour 7. I will the shirt come off? No, not the Controlled Chaos shirt. No way. My last one of these, I went a little long. I went like an hour and a half, so I'm going to probably wrap this one up. If anybody has one last question. I know we talked about PCC. I know we talked about PCC not changing the other divisions, and so it shouldn't be frowned upon as long as it's not affecting the other divisions. And then we talked about 2x4 and the possibility in the future of 2x4 becoming 1. I will say that it may not become 1 in the rule book anytime soon, but for the Grands next year, if there is a 2x4 champion, it will be a hybrid division for that event. I don't I'm never going to have 8 divisions at the. Well, I can't say never. If there's a lot of shooters and we can build a huge match and have 8 divisions recognized at a high enough level, but it was very clear that I would not launch a limited division at the Grands without having at least a dozen shooters and a coin carrying pro represented. That's how we set the curve. So if I get a coin carrying pro plus at least a dozen shooters, the bylaws say 10. And I say a dozen because I'd hate to start with 10 and then have one DQ, one get sick, one get hurt, whatever. It's possible. But realistically, I'd like to see the Grands next year have 100 shooters in open and 100 shooters in optics, and the possibility of a ladies division with less than 100 shooters is very, very possible in there, and a 2x4 division, a hybrid division. And if people didn't like where the hybrid went, they could shoot open, and if they didn't like where the hybrid went for TAC, they could shoot optics, and we move forward with that. So we talked about 2x4, we talked about PCC, we talked about some optics possibilities. We did mention a little bit about pistols. We talked about how the scoring, for those of you who weren't heard earlier, talked about how the scoring just doesn't work for an overall, because you could have an open shooter that shoots the stage in 45 seconds, wins the stage, and so that means he gets 45 match points, and a limited shooter shoots that same stage, wins the stage, he gets 65 match points, so it just doesn't balance out. You could have 3 stages, 3 stage wins, 3 stages, 3 stage wins, and you could have somebody that got 125 points in the open division versus somebody that got 210 points. So obviously the person with 210 points sounds like he's winning the match because he has more match points, but he's not. He's just winning the limited division because it's only by division and not overall. So I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, I can try to explain it more at another time. And what do I got? Let's wrap it up. What do you think it would take to pull all of the major names into a single major match? How can we create a true national championship? Money, Scott Green. That's simple math. We've been discussing this for a long, long time. Central location would be one of the first things, which we're working on. There's discussions and talks with some ranges that are more central. One of the number one reasons why I put the Bushnell Traditional Nationals in Texas, I guess it's far south. I know Michigan, John Gear came all the way down from Michigan. I know it's still a long way away, but it is central in the country from east to west. More central in the country, east to west, maybe some Colorado, maybe some Oklahoma, maybe some other areas. It's money. People on the East Coast don't come to the West Coast. People on the West Coast don't go to the East Coast very often. Now, you went all the way, but you're crazy. You're one of the top guys. So you went all the way to Florida. But a lot of the people in Florida didn't come over here to Grands and vice versa. So the sport is a volunteer sport. It's a sport that you have to work a job and then pay money to drive your little race car all over the country or as far as you'll drive it, or get plane tickets and things like that. So I can tell you right now, money. The way it was trying to be done in the other organization was limiting everybody to one division, and there was so many people at those events that I shot at, which was a division that I was shooting. There were so many people at those events that were not happy with the division that they were shooting. They were doing it because they almost had to, for sponsorship reasons and for the conception of the fact that it was the thing to do. But they were very unhappy, my coaches in general, very unhappy with the division that they were trying to shoot. So forcing everybody into one division, that would be difficult. I think location is key. I think the future, maybe we get some more money surrounding the sport, maybe some outside sponsorship. We're trying really hard to create a sport. We don't use silhouette targets. We're not talking about it as tactical. We're not talking about no shoots anymore. We're talking about a sport. Now, maybe it'll never happen, but this is our evolution. It's our attempt. It's our attempt to try to get some outside sponsorship, and we're working at it. We're trying really hard. MIP is helping us bring some sponsors in that are already a part, and that shows some strength. And social media might help show some strength, and we'll see what happens with the country and the presidential election and all that crazy stuff without getting into that. But what I think it would take is money, because I would have to almost pay or assist some of these shooters to come to this match. Because if it wasn't on their schedule and it wasn't in their budget, they're not going to come just because I tell them to come. So I think we did a great job at the Grands at getting a very thick field in the optics division and a very thick field in the open division. It was a fun race. You did a great job. I know the last day, a very top shooter came in third place in the optics division and basically came up to me and said, said, I got to put in work today, and he put the pedal to the metal, and he moved to second place, but he just couldn't take over Nate. And you did a great job fending off some extremely tough competition. So there's some good competition up in Wyoming. I know you're going to be on the World Shoot, so congrats and good luck out there. Represent USA proud. We know you will. That would be what I think it would take to get everybody to one location. Surefire. You've come to Surefire. A lot of people talk about Surefire. Surefire was always designed by Mike Voigt, Barry Duke, and myself to be the one location or the one match that represented all the different styles. So we do the 2 terrain match, the 2 running, the 2 box to box, the shoot off style, the 2 night stages, the 2 national style stages, the 2 Ironman stages. We do all these different types of stages, and it creates a really horrible matrix for me to write. That match, in my opinion, would challenge people the most. The key would be to move that match to a location central that more people could come to and get people on board with that match. So, not saying it has to be my match, but you really can't crown a champion at, like, say, an all-terrain match. You could crown a terrain champion, but it wouldn't be a champion of all multi-gun when there's so many different styles out there. So you couldn't go to an Ironman and say, I'm the multi-gun champion. You would have to be the Ironman champion. So there's my take on it. Man, it goes a long way. I got so much to talk about. Thank you guys for showing up. I can't appreciate you guys enough for showing up, keeping an eye on me, watching me, and as boring as I am sometimes to get on here and throw out questions and talk. Because I don't have time to get into all the different chat groups and comment and do things like that. A lot of times I'll get in there and I'll just say, hey, if you guys have a question, here's my email, pete@ussleagues.com, pete@icecopellc.com. You got my phone numbers. You can try to messenger me in the messenger thingy, but I don't watch that or see that all the time. So, Brian James, the purpose of various tees in golf is physical ability. Is this the same reason for the ladies division? Brian, I don't think that's at all our thought on the ladies division. We've got ladies that have done extremely well. I've been beat personally, extremely well against the field in the other divisions. We have a coin carrying pro lady, Justine Williams. We have grandmaster ladies out there shooting pistol, and there are a lot of ladies that compete at a very, very, very high level. I remember competing against Katie Harris a long time ago. I've seen Lena take top seeds and top tens. I know Katie got an overall win shooting heavy once against a couple of competitors. There's a lot of ladies. That is not at all the thought. I've been beat by Tawny. That is not the thought. The thought is that the ladies get spread out over the course of the other 8 divisions with such a small amount of competition, and meaning that if there's 100 guys in a district match and there's only 5 ladies, well, that's 5%. And if those 5 ladies are in the division that they want to shoot, which why would we take that away from anybody? It's where they want to shoot. If they want to shoot PCC only, let them shoot PCC only. It's not affecting me. If they want to shoot 2x4, let them shoot 2x4. And if they shoot 2x4 and never touch their shotgun, this was a question once. It seemed like somebody shot a Safari Land and they shot 2x4 and they never shot their shotgun. So, if they wanted to shoot the division and they used their other strengths and they were able to compete in that division and have fun doing so, whether they won or lost, who cares? It doesn't affect me shooting optics division. I don't change the stage for that person. They change the stage for themselves. They utilize their options, they utilize their division, they utilize their strength, and they were smiling the whole time. Why would I change that? So the purpose is, my purpose and my thought is, I would like to see a ladies group represented at the Grand Championships in 2020. I had a blast at that match. For those of you who didn't come or have not heard about it, there's going to be some videos coming out on the YouTube about it. That match was fun. That match had people that have been shooting a long time. Not old people. Sorry, Pat. I wasn't calling you old. Old timers. People that have been shooting a long time, like Pat Kelly, and some great shooters that shot that match and said it was one of the more better things they've seen in a long, long time. So proud of that. Proud to represent that match for a lot of people that had fun with it. I'd like to see a ladies division. Tanya and I, when we were at the trophy store, we were buying the belts. We were like, let's do a crown, or let's do something really cool. And that'll be up to Tanya because she's awards and apparel. But that's the reason right there. I'm not even trying to discuss abilities right now. I'm discussing having an actual race, an actual competition where as many ladies that would like to compete at the Grand Championships, the USSL Grands, are what I believe is one of our USSL marquee events. And it's different than anything else out there. So because it's different, it's not the expedition match. It's not the surefire match, which is 2 different stages of every different style. It's not the Bushnell traditional nationals, which is the traditional scoring system, half terrain, half base. It's a different match, just like the Magpul Wyoming Governor's matches. Is Northwest Territory Championship. It's half terrain, half base, and some of the farthest shooting that I've ever put out at altitude. So it's going to be an extremely physical match with 12 grueling stages, with shots out to 500 yards, shots 450 to 500, maybe even a little bit further. It's going to be grueling. It's going to be fun. Different. The Grands is a different match altogether. There's nothing like it. 5 stages shotgun, 5 stages all pistol, 5 stages all rifle, 5 stages all 3 guns. It's crazy. I'd like to see a ladies division represented there, and ladies are not a class. They're a category. Juniors, seniors, super seniors are a category, in my opinion. Dave Seeley, I wonder if you could run a match with only one division. Grands, 2 divisions, Dave, 50 shooters. I'd love to see the Grands grow, but I definitely would add another division. My division that I can see down the road. Now this is down the road when the hating is over and everybody's having fun and just doing what they want to do and all good to go. I'd love to see a 2x4 championship. I know the cameras crews have already talked to me about wanting to see a 2x4 championship, because I could guarantee you, Dave, if you were shooting the guns you would like to shoot, and Kim Scholl was shooting different guns, and Scott Green was shooting different guns. You know, Scott Green's an amazing pistol shooter. He's also a really good PCC shooter, so it's hard to compete, but it's hard to compare. But my point would be, I bet you people would shoot different guns on the stages. They wouldn't just follow the leader. And that would be fun to watch, and that would be fun to film. And I think that would be fun for the future of the sport. But it's a long way off, because now 2x4 is like the second hated division. Like PCC and the pistol was hated, and now 2x4 is hated. But trying to squash some of that stuff. Dave, are we still talking overall wins? Why can't people understand that the only way to do this is to have one division? Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. It's true. Jessica, what's up? How's it going? Ladies division. What do you think? I'm in for a 2x4 throwdown. Yeah, 2x4 throwdown. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna get ready to head out of here. I can't thank you guys all enough. If I'll take a couple more comments if Jess got something to say or anybody's got something to say. The recap, man, I know it's a lot, so I'll tell you guys what we're gonna do. This will be on the Facebook, so you could always turn on Facebook if you have a Facebook. And when you're driving to work or getting ready to go to work, or maybe putting on makeup, or maybe just I don't know when you would listen. Why the heck you would listen? If I make you angry, you could put it on while you're at the gym, and that could get y'all angry, and you could pump like John McClane's gonna listen to me while he's working out, because it'll make him super angry, and then he can lift heavier weights and all that good stuff. I will move this. I will take, and I'm not moving this. Okay, I'm not taking this. I gotta fix this because I got in trouble. I'm not taking this feed and sharing it to another entity. I have a secondary camera and a secondary microphone recording me. I will take those two. I will put them together. I will throw it up on the United Shooting Sports League's YouTube, and on the United Shooting Sports League's YouTube, you'll be able to turn it on if you do not Facebook or Instagram. If you don't social media, you're missing out on some of the videos that I'm putting on Instagram TV and sharing them over to my Facebook about the 2019 Wyoming Magpul Governor's Match presented by Vortex Optics. You're missing out on some of those cool videos. We did a site tour, and we're showing you some of the stuff that you're going to see when you get up there. Next week or the week after, we'll do an all things TMP show, all things Wyoming. I'm pretty excited about that one. And I will rebroadcast this, so tell your friends. If you got friends that hate 2x4 or don't like things that I'm doing or whatever, and they want to get angry, tell them to go to the United Shooting Sports League's YouTube page, like, subscribe, put a thumbs down. maybe hit the thumbs up and listen to it while they're driving or whatever and get some ideas. And then forever, don't forget, email me, pete@ussleagues.com, or hit up the phone numbers and text me and tell me what you guys want to hear. The next cool thing that's going to happen, we're going to do it at Wyoming, and we're going to do it at Surefire this year at the 2019 Magpul Wyoming Governors Match and Surefire. We're going to have an open forum for members. My team will sit down on Friday night at 6 p.m. In Wyoming. My team will sit down in a room where you will be able to come and voice your opinions and voice your input and give us some ideas so that we can hash it out and battle it out. And we'll have another one of those meetings at Surefire here in Las Vegas. So we'll have one in Wyoming, one in Las Vegas, and possibly, if we get enough want for it, another one in Texas. So we can try to get some meetings going on where the members can come, sit in front of my team, hash it out, tell them what they want, tell us what they want. As long as it's not unsafe, there's no reason to say no. We just have to try to find a way to balance all the craziness, and we're having a good time doing it. Bye, Tony Ray. Thanks. John, thanks. Trevor. Magnus for Magnuson. That's so true. That was awesome. Thanks for facilitating good conversation, Pete. I'm listening while I'm designing stages. Right on. Long range stuff. Ted. All right. Pete Rensing out. Will be rebroadcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. Almost an hour and a half again. I got some notes. Thank you guys for all your input. If you want to know how you shoot against your buddy, go shoot their division and battle with them. Say, hey, this week you guys you're going to come shoot with me, and next week I'm going to come shoot with you, and that's how you can figure out how you're doing against your buddies. For the rest of you guys, just keep shooting the division you want to shoot. It's your division. Have fun in it. Use your options. Have a good time. Keep smiling, keep showing up to matches, keep supporting clubs, keep supporting the sponsors. MIP packages, I just received Surefire today, and Bushnell is being launched. We're trying to finalize the codes on the website. I know it's taken too long this year. I promise you it will not take this long next year, but trying to implement a program that we never tried before. We've failed, but I promise you it's still happening, and I promise you it's super close. Super close. Topic one over next time. How do you design a stage to enforce shooters to choose a shotgun over another gun? I did it at Safari Land. My team shot the first day, and the next day they had to go to the Walmart and buy cases and cases of shotgun because all the stages were very shotgun friendly and with some good knowledge of how much faster you can shoot a shotgun at small knockdowns. That's the key right there. Smaller KDs and proper dump positions, so they don't feel like they have to move more out of their way to get on the other gun, but the other gun will be faster. I've got a video I got to put together with Jeremy and Cody doing a shotgun to pistol transition where Jeremy was able to beat Cody over and over and over again by going to the third gun, and Cody tried to stay on the second gun and couldn't put it together. So I got a video for that. Thanks, Pete. Love your vision of the sport. Thanks so much, you guys. You damn love with your stages. Starting shotgun written in the stage brief. Yeah, you could say starting shotgun written in the stage brief, but I don't do that. Our stage briefs all say where to start, and that you can start with your long gun at port arms or low ready, or your hands relaxed at sides, and that way you can choose which gun you get to start with. The best way to make people on a shotgun is slugs, because you make them slug mandatory targets for the standard divisions, and then they have to shoot their shotgun. But small KDs does a good job. That stuff's all in a thing that I keep preaching about that I'm not going to mention. Master the guidebook, and I want to get it out to you guys as soon as I can. I promise. All right, guys, take it easy. Thanks so much for everything. I'm going to get out of here. Peace out. Thanks to my boy Paul Taylor for setting me up with some swag. Controlled Chaos Solutions. You want to take a pretty awesome class, go see Paul Taylor. Mid packages are coming out soon. Special USS Leagues hats, we've been handing them out. We're going to bring some to Wyoming. The rest are being mailed right now. So if you earned one by joining in January, if you earned one of these bad boys, they're on the way out to you. If you want a sticker, when you see me at a match, ask me for stickers. I got them. Peace out. See you guys. Thanks.